Okie dokie. Let's adjust this camera and talk about empty houses and astrology. Please stay still, camera. All right, perfect. All right, so let's talk about it. Empty houses and astrology. But before I get into it, I would like to let you all know that I do private birth chart readings. So hit me up at s.island55@yahoo.com if you want to learn about your sun, your moon, your rising, Venus, Mercury, and your houses and all that good stuff. And also follow me on Instagram at Sydney_Island because I post a lot of astrology updates and songs and things like that on my Instagram. It's real cute and fun on there. So go ahead and follow me on that. All right, empty houses and astrology. I want to talk about this because it's not really talked about. And I like to talk about things that aren't really talked about, I can talk about things that are controversial, taboo, and ignored. All right, so there are only 10 planets, right? There are only 10 planets, but there's 12 houses, meaning that at least 2 houses in your birth chart will be empty. All right, and before I even explain that, I would like to explain what a birth chart even is. We call it a natal birth chart in astrology, and your birth chart is pretty much the map of who you are. It's your personality. It teaches you about, how you handle your moods and emotions. It teaches you about how you are in relationships. It's astrology. Astrology is the study of the stars pertaining to you as a person and your personality and your overall identity, right? So, if you have empty houses, typically this means that there is not as much karma here. This is not your most karmic house. And later on in the video, I will explain the meaning of each empty house. So, usually there's at least 3 to 5 empty houses in your birth chart. And it doesn't mean that the energy of that house is not present in your life. It just means that you don't have to focus on it as much. And it just means that this house will not be as much of a struggle, all right? So for example, if you have a lot of planets in the 8th house, which is Scorpio's house, which is the house of sex, rebirth, death, transformation, the occult, secrets, hidden knowledge, and things like that. If you have a lot of planets in this placement, for example, your karma will have a lot to do with transformation. You will have a lot of transformation to do in this lifetime. You may have a very challenging life because Scorpio energy, the 8th house energy, can be very challenging. You may experience death itself. You may experience loved ones dying. You yourself may die many times, meaning that you'll have different identities that die, different beliefs that die. This is just an example. Let's say you have a lot of planets in your 7th house. Your karma, your 7th house is Libra's house, which is the house of marriage and partnership and other. Your karma is linked to partnership, collaboration with other people. It's very important for you to compromise and to work with other people in this lifetime. Empty houses typically represent an area of your life that you've already mastered in past lives. If you have a lot of houses in a house, if you have a lot of planets in a house, damn, them birds loud. Goodness gracious. And the sun just disappeared. How you gonna do that to me, sunshine? So there's houses that have a lot of planets. And that's where a lot of your karma is. This house, where all the planets is the house that you're gonna have to learn from the most, all right? This is where you have to gain the most knowledge. But it doesn't mean to neglect the empty houses. You still have to look at what the zodiac sign is in that house and how that pertains to you in your life. So let's start off with Aries. Let's go in order. If you have an empty 1st house, which is Aries house, this is the house of self, right? So you will have an ease in the way that you come across to people, and you may not have as many challenges when it comes to your outward identity and your persona. All right, as opposed to someone who has a lot of planets in their first house. They have a lot of karma when it comes to who they are and how they present themselves and how they feel about themselves. It'll be very imperative that you focus on the relationship that you have with yourself in this lifetime. Having an empty 1st house, you may have a decent relationship with yourself and thus creating a better relationship with others. So if you have an empty 2nd house, which is Taurus's house, this is a house of self-worth, self-esteem, and your values and your finances, right? You will have an ease with handling your finances if you have an empty 2nd house. And this is not always going to be the case, but it kind of takes off some of the burden and the weight when there's not many when there's not many planets in a house. So you will may not struggle as much with your finances and with your values and with maintaining stability and security, because this is the house of security. It may be easy for you to attract nice things and also to attract money. If you have an empty third house, which is Gemini house, this is the house of communication. All right, this is the house of the way that you think, because planet Mercury is the planet of the mind, right? And planet Mercury rules Gemini. All right, so if you have an empty third house, you may have an ease with communication and an ease with conversation and an ease with the way that you express yourself, you know, especially using words. So let's move on to an empty fourth house, which is Cancer's house. This is a house of home and family. This is also the relationship that you have with your mother. You may have ease when it comes to matters of home and family. And the moon rules Cancer, and this is your inner self. So you may have ease when it comes to the relationship that you have with your inner self. You may be a natural at, you know, making people feel comfortable and making people feel at home and making people feel nurtured. You know, people may come to you to you know, to find comfort. And you may also have a more smooth relationship with your mother, having an empty fourth house. So if you have an empty fifth house, which is Leo's house, this is the house of fun, recreation, you know, love affairs, and children. You may have more of an ease when it comes to connecting with children, and an ease when it comes to connecting also with your own heart, because Leo rules the heart. That's the body part of Leo that it rules, is the heart. So you may have an ease when it comes to connecting with your heart and expressing how you feel, and also expressing your creativity and your talents, because Leo energy is a very artistic energy. You know, a lot of people who have dominant Leo energy are passionate about the arts, you know, the dramatic arts, typically like acting and music and things like that. You may have an ease when it comes to just fun, you know, and recreational activities. And also, you know, how you express and receive love, you know, typically romantic love. And you may have a ease when it comes to gaining attention. You know, you don't get too much attention or too little attention. It's very balanced with the amount of attention that you get, because we all know Leo energy loves attention. This is where the sun is. This is where the sun shines. It's bright. I had to get into my Leo energy, you know what I'm saying? I got a Leo house stellium, so all right, we got an empty sixth house on our hands, which is Virgo's house. All right, Virgo's house is the house of service. Okay, this is the house of health also, and this is also the house of work. You know, service is work. So you may have an ease when it comes to work and attaining work, and you may enjoy the work that you have. You may have ease when it comes to your daily life and the work that you do in your daily life. You may also have an ease with your physical health as well. And when it comes to Virgo's house, you really do have to pay attention to your body. So let's talk about empty seventh house, which is Libra's house, which I love this house. This is one of my favorite houses because I have a Libra moon and I have a lot of Libra karma, Libra North Node, Chiron, Libra. So Libra is a very dominant energy for me. So I love talking about this. So if you have an empty seventh house, this is the house of marriage, like I said, the house of partnership, the house of business partnerships, and the house of other people, the house of, you know, collaborations. So you will have an ease with your relationships and, you know, commitment. You know, it's good to have an empty seventh house when you want to have a long-term healthy marriage, for example. And also, it does depend on the sign that's in the seventh house as well, that may either make this house easier or more difficult to deal with. You may also have good luck when it comes to making friends, and you may have a good bit of social charisma about you. Empty eighth house. This is Scorpio's house. This is the house of death, transformation, and rebirth. This is the house of also secrets. You may have ease when it comes to transformation. You don't have to deal with all of that tough, you know, trauma of transformation. A lot of people who have heavy Scorpio placements do. You know, people who have a lot of planets in their Scorpio house. This is also the house of like inheritance also, and shared resources. So you may have an ease with, you know, sharing resources with other people. You may have an ease with addressing your inner feelings and the things that you hold inside, because Scorpio is very secretive. You may have more of an ease with sex and relationships. And man, I wish I had an empty eighth house, because my eighth house is packed with planets, meaning that I've had to deal with a lot of sexual trauma and things like that, because I've had so many planets in my eighth house. I've had to just deal with you know, sexual discomfort. And a lot of people who have a lot of planets in their eighth house you know, transforms through sex. There's a lot of karma here when it comes to sex. All right, so empty ninth house. This is Sagittarius's house. This is the house of travel. And hold on, let me turn this phone off. This is the house of travel, higher knowledge, overseas travel. This is the house of expansion. This is Sagittarius's house. All right, so you may have an ease with travel, getting up and going, just wherever, not many blocks in your way. And ease with being able to expand your environment, and you may easily take an interest in, you know, foreign culture and politics and you know, philosophy and higher knowledge and things like that. So let's talk about an empty 10th house, which is Capricorn's house. This is the house of your career. This is the house of your public image. All right, this is the house of status. You may have an ease with handling your business. All right, at ease with pursuing your goals and going about your career. You know, you may have an ease with your career, and you may enjoy your career and love your career, and you won't have to go through all of the different, you know, stages and stress when it comes to your career. You may have less blocks when it comes to being able to do what you love. And you also have an ease when it comes to the relationship with your father, because Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer, and Cancer rules the relationship that you have with your mother, right? So you may have more of an ease when it comes to the relationship you have with your father. And I wish that I had this, because I don't know my daddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that man. I wish I did, but I don't really know that man. You know what I'm saying? So I got some planets in my 10th house. Made me think. That makes me think. I got some planets up in there. All right. Empty 11th house, which is Aquarius's house. All right, this is the house of, I had a moment. Aquarius energy confuses the heck out of me. I'm like, what is an empty 11th house? Like, what is this? This is the house of the future and of your dreams. This is a very unique house, and this is also the house of friendships. Remember, Aquarius is the humanitarian, so Aquarius is love people. They love assisting people. They're all about unity and bringing people together. All right, remember Bob Marley is Aquarius. He was always making them songs about unity and bringing people together. All right, so if you have an empty 11th house, you may have good luck when it comes to bringing people together. All right, you don't have to struggle as much when it comes to networking and making friends and things like that. And also, Aquarius' house rules technology as well. And last but not least, let's talk about an empty 12th house, which is Pisces' house. This is also the house of dreams. This is the house of the subconscious. This is the house of the spirit realm. This is one of the most spiritual houses. And this is also the house of endings. All right, so typically what's going on in this house has a lot to do with your death and the way that you transcend or, you know, move over to the other side when you die. When you may have an ease with your it sounds weird, but like with your subconscious, because this is the house of your subconscious, and also an ease with endings, and the lighting keeps on screwing up. It is also the house of intuition, so you may have an ease with being able to get in tune with your intuition as well. And spirituality may not be a huge focus for you in this lifetime because you don't have many planets, but it also depends on if you have planets in like your Scorpio house or your Cancer house, which are more spiritual signs as well. The 12th house plays an important role in like how we let go of things, because the 12th house is the sign of endings. It's the sign of ending your life, you know? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to find the right lighting for this dang video. Guess I'll just stand up. Alright, y'all. Hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also hit me up for that birth chart reading. And also follow me on my second channel called Itty Bitty Black Lady. Deuces.